As always, we come to give glory to God in Jesus' name. I was just sitting around thinking, and I was thinking about all the things that's going on right now in the media with like Diddy, and I was watching some of the clips with Diddy and like the way that he was sort of like making a lot of people feel uncomfortable and exerting his will over these people. And I got to thinking about part, that part of our ability as human beings to exert our will. And I don't think that most people exert their will. And I'm not saying that, we should go around exerting our will in a way that makes people feel uncomfortable for our own selfish desires. Um, but I think that as children of God, we need to exert our will and know that we can exert our will in a loving and in a righteous way. And that there's nothing wrong with taking command and control over things. It doesn't have to be like in a condescending way. In fact, it should not be. But I was thinking about like how I'll never forget like years ago. It was right after I read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And what I gathered from this book was it's all about having a strong will. Okay. Because in the book, he doesn't exactly tell you what the message behind the book is. He doesn't give it to you. He makes you read the book and search for it. And periodically, as he's telling you these different stories of people who exerted this thing that he's trying to teach you, he says it will jump out the page at you as you continue to read. And maybe at a certain point in the book, you will finally understand what it is I'm trying to show you, this thing that this ability that you have that can cause things to work for you. And one of the examples he gives is like how a child is like demanding something. And as I as I read this and I learned that like, wow, that is powerful. Like a child could just be screaming and screaming, like, I want it now, I want it now, I want it now. And eventually a lot of times the parents will cave in and be like, okay, I'll give you what you want. Just because they exerted so much of their will. See what I'm saying? And as I began to think about this, I began to think to myself, what if, what if I fully exerted my will onto my own desires and forced people to bend to my will? And so I started calling up recording studios because at the time I was in New York City. I was just trying to get my music out there, and I was just trying to I wanted an engineer that could help me to get my music to sound the way I wanted it to sound. So I was like, I'm gonna call up a studio and exert my will over this studio. Literally, this is what I did. I called the studio and I was like, yeah, I want to take a tour of your studio because I'm trying to figure out if this would be a good place for me to come and record my album at. And I want to say it was the first place I called, and they were like, yeah, okay, just it was like, just come on down there and somebody should be there, and they can just show you around. Just tell them that you're thinking about setting a studio session up and you want to get a feel for the place. So I went up there. I go out, it's like the 19th floor or something like that. I go up in there, and I remember there was nobody at the desk, and I was just looking around like, dang, where do I go? And then finally the phone was ringing like behind the desk, and this lady came out, and then I was like, yeah, I was like, I'm here to take a tour of the studio. She was like, oh, just go in the B room down there. She was like, such and such is in there. He's working on something, but just knock on the thing, and he's pretty friendly. He'll talk to you and show you some stuff. And I was like, okay, cool. So I go down there and I talk to him. And I remember I was like, yo, can I play you something that I did? Like maybe you could help me with this. Like, let me know if this is something you can help me with. So we hooked it up to the speakers or whatever, and I played my stuff. And he's like, yeah, I can help you with that, whatever. Have you taken a look on our site? Like, do you know what our expenses and everything are? And I was like, yeah, I think I have an idea. He was like, yeah, we charge 70 an hour or whatever. And I was like, ooh. I was like, yeah. I told him, I said, have you ever won a Grammy before? He was like, no. I was like, do you want to win one? He was like, of course. Like, of course, that's every producer or engineer's dream to win a Grammy. I was like, okay. I said, come work with me and we'll get one. He said, okay, yeah, that's cool. So you could book a session. First, you could put a deposit or whatever, 70 an hour. I was like, no, no, no. I'm like, nah, you don't get it. I'm like, you don't get it. I was like, I need you to come be my engineer. I can't pay you right now. I said, but we'll get there. I was like, I need you to come be my engineer. He was like, oh man, I can't do that. I was like, no, you don't get it. I need you to come be my engineer today. You're now my engineer. Okay. And after going back and forth a couple times, and he said, no, 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 no. Eventually he was like, okay, okay, you got me. Like I said, so you're not going to be trying to charge me the 70 an hour. I got this other place where I'm setting a studio up right now. I'm building a connection with this person, and they're going to let me come in there and set my stuff up. And we're going to build a booth in there. You're going to help me with this. We're going to do this. And he's just like, yeah. He's like, yeah, I'll help you. And I was just like, okay. All right. I'll never forget. I left out of there and went to a coffee shop up the street. And I was just sitting there thinking to myself, like, I really just took this man who works in this building at this recording studio in New York City, who gets paid $70 an hour to do his job, exerted my will and told him he had no choice and that he was going to come and help me record this stuff. And he caved. I don't want to say caved, but he just bent to my will. You know what I'm saying? And it scared the living crap out of me. And I began to think of like later on, well, actually later on, I ran into, that quote by Nelson Mandela. He said, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate, but that we are powerful beyond measure, right? And I'm like, that's so true, because it scared me, you know what I'm saying, to realize that I had this ability. And I really wanted to see, I was feeling myself after that, and I really wanted to see, like, how far can I push this? Like, maybe I have higher abilities than what I realize. I'm like, how far can I actually push myself and exert myself like this? So you know what I did? I called up another studio, and I tried the same thing. Only thing is, this time it didn't work. It didn't work. The dude just kept telling me no, and he got very hostile and resistance, and he threatened to call security on me, and then he ran away and did call security on me, and I was just like, all right, and I just gracefully left the place. But it taught me something. It taught me that, like, yes, you can exert your will if you push enough for it. But it also taught me that you shouldn't just force yourself on people. You should do it in a way that's inspirational and in a way that's loving and pure. And if you know that your intentions are of the highest level to help that person grow, to help yourself grow, and to help other people grow and expand off of what you are trying to accomplish, then you should have no fear or problem exerting your will, like, because all of the forces that God has placed in the universe are going to be on your side. Not that you won't encounter any resistance, but it's insane what you actually can do. And I think there's a few people I'm thinking of that I know for a fact they understand this principle, because as I watch them, I see them doing it constantly. Diddy is one of them. Now, I'm not saying I agree with what Diddy does. I do believe that maybe he's like on the dark side of it. But Kanye is another person who I see do it. I think he probably rubs a lot of people wrong the way he does it, but he's also very inspirational the way he does it. And I don't know, it's another topic. I'm not necessarily saying I agree with all of what he has going on either, but there's something very powerful about being able to exert your will. Okay. And so there's a Bible verse that says, it's where'd it go? I just had it and clicked off of it like a goofy. It says, let your light shine. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. Matthew 5:16. You know you're powerful. You know you have good ideas. You know that oftentimes you might have more wisdom than other people have, and you might be able to guide them into things that could be better for them. But you see and know that they're not making the right decisions. You might have to start exerting your will on some of these people. But you don't have to do it. And like, one mistake I would say I made when I was practicing this back when I was in New York City was I may have been a little bit too aggressive in my approach. And I realized I don't really need to be aggressive in my approach. You can do it from a place of calm. Like you can be like, hey, you don't have a choice. This is what you're gonna do. You're gonna come with me. We're gonna do this. We're gonna put it together like this. You're gonna invite this person. This person's gonna come with this. We're gonna move it like this, and then we're gonna execute it like this, and everyone's gonna win. Okay? This is for everyone's benefit. The people that are a part of it and the people that are being affected by it are all going to win, okay, because of what we have implemented here. And I feel like if you know you're coming from a place of purity and positivity, the word of God says that the righteous is bold as a lion. You see what I'm saying? So like, they say the lion is like the king of the jungle, right? Even Jesus referred to himself as the lion. Jesus is referred to in the Bible as the lion of the tribe of Judah. See what I'm saying? And like, it's not about you pointing a finger and for the sake of your ego telling someone to do something because that makes you feel good. Okay? Like, I don't like when people deal with me like that. But if a person is coming from a place of purity and maybe they're smarter than you in a certain situation or you're smarter than them in a certain situation, allow that person to captain a thing, okay? Allow them to exert their will, or you allow yourself to exert your will. Surrender yourself to the best idea, to the highest outcome, to the purest form of execution. Even if that means your insecurity has to come to the surface and you feel like an idiot because someone is telling you this is how we're going to do it. They're not trying to disrespect you. They might just know better than you. Like I said, on the flip side, that could be you in some positions. Maybe you know more than people in something and you know better than them because you've already seen the outcome of what they were doing and how they weren't doing it correctly. You might have to exert your will. There's nothing wrong with that. It's when you're doing it in a way that, I hate to throw darts at this dude. I really pray this dude gets his stuff together. But Diddy, he was exerting his will. Clearly, the dude has an extremely strong will. That's how he's able to move and manipulate and maneuver all of these people the way that he is, because he's doing it in a way to where you can tell he's very decisive about whatever he wants to do, and he gets behind it with all of his energy, and he's not moving until it comes out the way that he wanted it to come out. Okay. And there's something very powerful about whenever you can do that. And so that's really all I was trying to get on here and share with you. But just make sure that when you exercise this, you're coming from a place of purity. Okay. All right. If you ever read the book 7 Habits of Highly Successful People, one of the 7 habits of highly successful people is always striving for a win-win situation. Okay. It's not just about you winning. It's not just about them winning. It's about both parties getting what they need. Okay. And coming to a balance and an agreement. You're getting this, I'm getting this. Okay. You're happy, I'm happy. We both get what we need and want. Strive for that. Strive for that. It's not about being a people pleaser. It's about bringing a full balance to both sides, of it. And this will help people. People will trust you more. Over time, your reputation will be more positive with people as they begin to see that you do care that they get what they want, as well as yourself getting what you want. You're taking care of yourself, because if you just give other people what they want, but you never get what you want, well, then you could start to feel some type of way about that person, and you could start to back out and get cold feet on certain things. I know, because I've done that before. And it's not that you should never go into a situation just willing to give, because you should. Just don't make it a habit of going into every situation fully sacrificing everything that you have and never looking out for yourself. Okay. But if that's the case to where you know that they bring something to the table and you do, and you want to make an agreement between you and the other person, always do that at the beginning. Don't wait until the project is halfway done to be like, so yeah, I gotta charge you for this and that because you getting paid. Like that discussion needs to happen up front every single time. All right, because otherwise it's just gonna make you look like you're trying to be manipulative or something, or like you were scared to just say that from the jump. So yeah, I don't know, man. I hope what I'm saying is helpful to somebody. I don't know. Maybe I'm telling y'all something y'all already know. Who knows? I don't know how y'all think.